You think it's just an impulse, a simple release for pleasure. But with every compulsive cycle, a profound part of your psyche is fragmented. You feel it, but you don't understand it. A deep-seated tiredness without a physical cause. A constant low-level irritation, an emotional numbness, or an emptiness that lingers long after the moment of satisfaction has passed. This is not a coincidence. It is the feeling of a divided self, of your psychic energy or libido being unconsciously squandered in a loop of stimulus, pleasure, and erotic shame. While most remain trapped in this cycle, some begin to awaken to a deeper possibility. They stop. They become silent. They contain their energy, and in a short time, the process of self-integration begins. What follows is not just a biological change. It is the unraveling of a lifetime of sexual repression and the first step on the path of individuation. In 7 days, the conscious mind confronts the shadow. In 14, psychic projections begin to be withdrawn. In 30, the energy transforms, and in 90 days, the fragmented man gives way to one who is becoming whole. This is the journey of what happens when a man dares to face his own depths. The first 7 days. Confronting the sexual shadow the first week is not a physical challenge. It is a profound psychological confrontation. This is the moment you come face to face with your sexual shadow, the exiled, denied, and repressed parts of your own desire. In these first days, the conditioned body screams for its usual release. And the ego mind sabotages your efforts, disguising raw impulse as an urgent need. It feels like fighting a ghost within you, a voice whispering, just one more time, no one will know. This is the voice of the shadow, comprised of every fantasy, desire, an aspect of your sexuality that was met with shame or trauma in your past. The ordinary man gives in here, calling it release, but from a psychological perspective, it is an escape. It is an escape from the unbearable tension of the unconscious, an escape from anxiety, from loneliness, from the unexpressed anger and shame that live in the shadow. The compulsive need for release is rarely about authentic connection or even pleasure. It is an attempt to numb the pain of a divided self. These first 7 days expose the nature of your unconscious attractions and compulsions. The withdrawal symptoms, irritability, headaches, insomnia, are not just your brain begging for dopamine. They are the psyche reacting to the denial of its primary coping mechanism for dealing with repressed trauma and shame. But then something shifts. A spark of consciousness emerges. You experience a deeper night of sleep, a morning with more clarity, a thought that is truly your own. You are not just fighting an impulse. You are reclaiming the power of conscious choice from the grip of the unconscious. The true benefit at this stage is lucidity. For the first time, you begin to notice your triggers with objective awareness. The phone screen, the endless scroll of social media, the way your energy is unconsciously pulled by attractions on the street. You start to see how everything around you seems to demand your psychic energy. By resisting the compulsion, you are no longer a passive victim of your unconscious. You are an observer, making a choice. You have discovered that your capacity for consciousness is stronger than your unconscious pleasure-seeking impulse. And that changes everything. 14-30 days. Withdrawing projections and reclaiming the self after 2 weeks. What was once a desperate struggle begins to transform into a state of clarity. The hormonal and psychological storm starts to settle, and you feel, perhaps for the first time, a sense of authentic self-control. This is the stage where you begin to withdraw your psychic projections. When sexual energy is not constantly being cast outwards onto others, it is reclaimed, and this builds an internal foundation of self-worth. Your eyes, which once may have averted their gaze in shame or insecurity, now hold contact with firmness and presence. In the mind, the fog of emotional numbness lifts. Procrastination, often a symptom of a psyche drained by internal conflict, gives way to decisive action. You realize how much of your life was dictated by unconscious appetites, not just for sex, but for sugar, validation, and other forms of instant gratification. By mastering the most primal urge, you find you are not just becoming stronger. You are becoming psychologically freer. Others begin to notice a change. Not because of anything you say, but because your entire energetic presence has shifted. This is not the inflation of the ego or arrogance. It is a quiet dignity born from the difficult work of self-integration. People unconsciously register you as someone who is whole and self-contained. By 3 weeks, this effect intensifies. You walk into a room, and your contained energy is felt as a palpable presence. This is the natural magnetism of an integrated individual. You are not performing. You are radiating a frequency of discipline and inner alignment. This journey is no longer just about retention. You realize it is about a complete reconstruction of the self. Piece by piece, 0.30 to 90 days. Transmutation. Individuation and integration at 30 days. The practice is no longer a fight against desire. It has become a part of your identity. An archetypal masculinity, centered, and whole awakens within you. This is the stage of transmutation. In Jungian terms, libido is the source of all creative life force. By containing it, the energy does not vanish. It is transformed. What was once channeled compulsively into sexuality now becomes fuel for your purpose. You think with greater clarity, act with precision, and your goals become more ambitious and attainable. By 60 days, this transformation has taken root in your essence. Your discipline in this one area spreads to all others. Your space becomes more organized, your schedule more defined, your mind more strategic. You are rejecting the outer chaos because your inner world is becoming ordered. Within this new order, a deep connection to the self, the organizing principle of the psyche, is born. It acts as an invisible compass, a clear intuition guiding you toward what truly matters. You become a safe harbor for others, but more importantly, for yourself. The anxieties, anger, and fears rooted in your shadow and past traumas no longer dominate you because you have begun the process of integrating them. At 90 days, you arrive at a new state of being. The man who began this journey is gone, transfigured by the process of individuation. Retention is no longer the goal. It is simply your natural way of being. The greatest reward is not physical, but spiritual. You can look in the mirror and know that you did not run from your demons or your shame. You faced them, and in doing so, you became whole. The man who masters his sexual energy, the core of his psychic libido, also gains mastery over his mind and his destiny. In the end, this path was never about the body. It was about the soul. It was about what happens when you stop seeking outside yourself the validation and peace that have always been within. Waiting to be integrated.